Hi, everybody. My name is Darlene Dotson. And Gemini, this is your destiny of truth for December of 2020. I'm no longer going to be doing things pre-planned out, just pretty much using a list of planetary aspects. And we're going to go over them as they come. My life is just too busy. So I do want to help you guys. And this is the way that I have time for it right now. Well, on the 1st, we have Mercury entering Sagittarius. And for you, Gemini, that's your 7th house. And you're going to be communicating more in your relationships. You're going to be using your higher mind when you communicate. You're, you're going to be very much more communicative. But you also are going to do it in a way that allows you to keep your freedom, but in the same sense to better your life. So, and that's, with partnerships. Now, on the 4th, we have Mercury in Sagittarius in the 7th house, trining Chiron in Aries in our 11th house. And you are going to be communicating, as I said, with your partnerships. And these partnerships have to do with your friendships, your goals, your utmost heart desire, your aspiration. It's what you want the most, because you do want to heal there. You want to heal those goals. You want to heal those friendships. But in order to do that, you're going to have to communicate with them. And you're going to have to do it from a higher mind standpoint about, those things that you hold dear to you. But they're not going to know unless you communicate. Then on the 5th, we have Venus in Scorpio in the 6th house, trining Neptune in Pisces in the 10th house. Well, Gemini, your career, okay, there's been a lot of illusions around your career and a lot of deceptions. And, you've got to get over those. You can't paint that illusion anymore. It's a time for you to go into the higher realm of things. You're going to have to make that step because, those deceptions in your work life, people want honesty. They want truth. They want trust. And when you give them that, then things are going to move in a positive way. Because one thing about Neptune, I call it the magical potion. That magical, potion can take you into addictions and substance abuse, or it can take you into addictions with power or relationships, all sorts of addictions. But if we let go of those and we move into the higher realm of it, Neptune can get us closer with our spiritual side, with our highest octane in our thoughts. And with it being trine, Venus, this is something you can do easy, but you can't be lazy about it. You do have to take the action towards being truthful and honest and open-hearted. Because if you know Scorpios, any Scorpio, okay, there can be two realms of a Scorpio. They live with addictions, bluntness, you know, they just speak their mind, so to speak, or they also, you know, they just deal with desires. But there's also that higher realm of Scorpios where they are very trustworthy. They don't use deception or manipulation. And this is something that you can get over easily at this time. But again, you're going to have to go to the higher realm of things. You can't continually live in addiction to whatever that addiction may be. Now, the ninth house, we have the sun in Sagittarius. I mean, on the ninth, we have the sun in Sagittarius in the seventh house. And that's squaring Neptune in Pisces in the 10th house. And with the sun being in Sagittarius here in the 7th house, you're very invested in your ego, in your partnerships, and having freedom from partnerships that are holding you back. But it's squaring Neptune, which is our empowerment, our boss, our the higher authorities in our life. And, you know, you're going to have to overcome the issues that the higher authorities in your life have put on you in order to feel that freedom in your partnerships. I mean, because your partnerships right now are holding you back. And, you know, these partnerships, if you break them, you're going to own your power. It's an illusion of them holding you back. The only person holding you back from getting what you want is yourself. Then on the 10th, we have Venus in Scorpio in the 6th house. And that is sextiling Pluto in Capricorn in the 8th house. And again, this is a sextile. You're going to have to put the work in order to make this happen. It's not going to happen without your involvement. If you want to change what's happening with your desires, your 8th house matters. That's other people's money. That's your sexual relationships. That's real estate. That's, you know, wills, inheritances. All these issues can be transformed. But in order to do that, you know, you're going to have to be honest at work. You're going to have to be honest with your health. You are going to have to transform this because nobody else can transform what's going on with your health or in your work life but you. But you're going to have to make the changes that you want. And once you do, that's going to change everything with those wills, with those inheritances, other people's money, you know, real estate, death, taxes. That'll change everything for you. Now, again, on the 10th, we have the sun in Sagittarius in the 7th house, trining Mars in Aries in the 11th house. Now, the sun in Sagittarius in your 7th house, trining Mars in your 11th house, means, you know, your ego, okay, and your partner's ego can easily be gotten over with that common goal that you have. You know, you share a common goal. You can get over that self-sabotaging behavior that you have used in your friendships and in your goals and aspirations. But you've got to take the action again. You can't be lazy about it. If you want this to happen, you're going to have to get up off your laurels and do something about it. It's not just going to happen. Yeah, it can happen easily, but what you do with that energy that's happening easily for you is another thing coming. Are you going to participate with it, or are you just going to let the energy pass you by and be a one-time deal? Then on the 13th, we have Mercury in Mercury in Sagittarius in our 7th house. And that is squaring Neptune in Pisces in our 10th house. And again, you need to communicate in partnerships in a higher minded way, not in a passionate way, because you have to get over the illusions and the deceptions that you have painted for yourself about power, about other people, about how you use your power. This all has to be voiced, okay? No longer are you going to be able to, do things the way you used to do them. If you want to survive the fall, that's happening in all of our lives, you've got to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, so to speak, and use your power in a higher minded way for everybody, for your partnerships. And you're going to have to speak on this. It's no longer, c'est la vie. It's my life. I'll do what I want. You're going to have to think in a higher minded way about your partnerships and leave the illusions behind about what power is in a career, because we all need our partners in our career. They make our team. Then on the 14th, we have the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And for you, that's in the 7th house. And you have a new chance for new beginnings here. But what are you going to do with it? Okay, what are you going to do with those new beginnings? And with it being in Sagittarius, it could be traveling down a new road with partnerships. It could be, with it being Sagittarius, a publishing and broadcasting issue, journalism, real estate, in-laws, self-improvement. But you have a chance here with a partnership to have a new beginning in these areas. But and it's going to happen. Now on the 14th, we have Mercury in Sagittarius in our 7th house. And again, that is trining Mars in Aries in our 11th house. And you have a chance here to voice things with your partnerships in a higher minded manner. And this has to do with publishing, broadcasting, any 9th house matter, in-laws, all these different things that you want to move forward with, real estate, whatever. You can do this in a higher minded way, and you're going to have to take action with this aspiration. Okay, you can't be lazy about it. You got to join the party. Now on the 15th, we have Venus in Sagittarius, and it's entering our 7th house when it enters Venus in Sagittarius. And then you're going to be showing people how much you love them, and you're going to watch your money grow in a way with your higher mind. Okay, whether that's education, broadcasting, publishing, things are going to start to grow in a positive way. And that's a good thing because Saturn is entering Aquarius in your ninth house. And Saturn restricts what it touches. And that's your ninth house matters. Philosophies, publishing, broadcasting, the in-laws, real estate, okay? All these areas have been restricted for you. And you're really going to know the difference it's going to make on the 19th when Jupiter enters this party in the ninth house. And he's going to expand the issues that have been happening in those ninth house matters. He is going to make structures fall, okay? But how they fall is up to you. Are they worth rebuilding, or do you need something new? Because changes can happen. And for you, it is a ninth house matter. You know, and that's publishing, broadcasting, lawyers, okay? They're trying to think of what else. Lawyers, publishing, broadcasting, in-laws, education, journalism. It also rules government, you know. So, you know, you're going to see a lot of things changing within our government because, you know, it is an Aquarius. So that rules Uranus, which is changes, but it's also in your ninth house. And the ninth house is standardly ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter. So that's very significant for you. Now, also on the 19th, we've got the Sun in Sagittarius, and it's going to be conjunct Mercury in Sagittarius in your seventh house. And your head and your mind are on the same page as your partners. You're able to move forward with your partners in a way that's going to be helpful for everybody. You know, you guys are working as one now. Then on the 20th, Mercury enters Capricorn in your 8th house. This is your desires. And you're going to have to, with it being in Capricorn, get some structure here with your desires, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and it's in Mercury communication. So the way you communicate with others about your desires, you're definitely going to have to be practical here. You no longer get to do things in the way that you've done them in the past in your communications. You know, you don't get to blow up, but just nothing. Then on the 21st, the Sun enters Capricorn in the 8th house. It's no longer in the thoughts which you were thinking about and communicating. You're now invested in moving forward in your desires in a practical way. And you know that this is something that has to take place. You know, and it could have to deal with a sexual issue, an issue that scarred you, scarred others. It could have to do with other people's money. You know, there's a lot of 8th house matters that need to be transformed. And you're now ready to move forward in making this transformation, because you know, you're invested. Your mind's been thinking about this, and you know now what the truth is, and you're going to move forward with it. Now, on the 21st, we have Jupiter conjunct Saturn in Aquarius in your 9th house. This is the great conjunction that all the astrologers have been talking about. Structures are going to fall. Okay, it's just the way it is. Uranus rules Aquarius. That means changes are going to happen. And Jupiter's going to expand those changes within our structures. But how are we going to deal with these changes? That is up to us. If we can be flexible and if we can change with the times, with these structures, then we're going to survive. But if we're set in the way that we've always done things, then, you know, it's going to be a rough transformation. Because, again, I'm just going to throw this out there because it's your 9th house, and 9th house rules government. And if people don't change with the times, with our government, we're going to see a lot of turmoil. But the 9th house, again, rules publishing, broadcasting, in-laws, philosophies, self-improvement, all these areas of life, real estate. If we are ready to move forward with these changes and changing things for the better, then we're going to see it survive. But if we fight the changes that are happening, then we're going to find the structures around us crumbling. Now, on the 23rd, we have got Mars in Aries in the 11th house. That's squaring Pluto in Capricorn in our 8th house. And Mars in Aries in our 11th house, that has to do with our friendships, our goals, our most heartfelt dreams, our aspirations, the things that we want to accomplish in life. And it's squaring Pluto, okay, in the 8th house. That's other people's money, you know, death, transformation, the structures, because Capricorn is there, that support these things. We have got to change with the times. No doubt in my mind about it. We are putting our actions into our friendships, into building new friendships, into building new goals and aspirations. But the old way of being has to be transformed in order for it to work, because other people's money, other people, you know, the taxes, the wills, inheritance, all of this has to go through a transformation in order for those goals and aspirations that you hold in those friendships that you want, in order for that to, you know, move into a positive direction. Now, on the 24th, we have Mercury in Capricorn in the 8th house. And that's trining Uranus in Taurus in our 12th house. Well, we're going to start with Uranus, okay? Because Uranus likes change. And for you, it's about changing your thought process, about changing your innermost being of who you are to be more practical, to be more stable. You don't get to fly by the seat of your pants anymore. You have to take practical steps, okay, in order to move into communicating in a practical stance. Could also be your intuition and psychic ability coming to life that you need to make changes with. That way you can communicate practically and in a grounded way with other people about inheritances, about taxes, about real estate matters, with the in-laws, all journalism, broadcasting, publishing, all of these things are going to come in. And again, when it's a trine, it's something you can do easy. You can transform all of this, but it's not going to happen unless you put the energy into it, because a trine can make us very lazy. It's just something that we're able to do, that like second nature. It just comes to us easy. But when something comes to us easily, we sort of push it to the side thinking it's always going to be there. Well, we need to use this energy in a way that's going to move our lives forward. If we keep setting it aside, it's never going to come into being. So what we find easy, we got to focus on it and bring it into life. We've got to focus on it to bring those things that we're thinking in our mind into, life. And one of the things that we need to move into life, okay, is using our intuition, using our psychic abilities, because we're all born with them. And when we live in a way that we use this as a second nature, things tend to start moving in a positive direction. But again, you're going to have to use it in a practical way, because it is trine Scorpio, okay? Yes. And Scorpio is for you right now, it's your voice. And are you going to use it in a deceptive way, in a manipulative way, or are you going to use it in a way that brings it to your higher vision for life out? Then on the 27th, we have the sun following in Capricorn in our 8th house, trining Uranus again in our 12th house. And again, Uranus is in Taurus. We have to change in a way that we're being practical. We're being more grounded. And for you, that's in your mind, okay? You have always been a fast thinker, Gemini, and it's time for you to get those thoughts more grounded and more practical into being, so you can use them in a practical way to move forward in your life that has to do with death, taxes, your intuition, your other people's money, these types of issues in your life. And then, because it can be used if you're a higher minded. Now, you've got every sign, just to let you know, has a higher octave and a lower octave. The lower octave is going to live of the old world. They're going to live being greedy. They're going to live being manipulative. It's all about me. What can I do to get to this? But if you're living from the higher octave, you're thinking of how your actions are affecting other people and what that does to them. So again, this is something you can do easy. You can either live from that higher octave in a positive way and make the changes that Uranus wants you to make, or you can be lazy and keep on going in the way that you have always went, and nothing's really going to change. Now, we have the full moon in Cancer, okay, on the 29th. And that's your second house of finance, ethics, morals. And there's an emotional ending coming in this area of your life, because I see your ethics and your morals aren't matching up with somebody else's ethics and morals. And it's affecting your finances, and it's affecting your values, and you're just not going to have it anymore. So it's an emotional ending for you in that area. Now, on the 30th, we have Venus in Sagittarius, and that's in your 7th house, squaring Neptune in Pisces in your 10th house. And you're realizing how the powers to be around you were nothing but an illusion. You know there's no such thing as power. Power is how you control your own actions. And you were finding out that in the partnerships that you have, that your actions are going to show you how your partnerships are going to work out. If you've been using higher actions, then fine. But if you've been using your actions and, partnerships to feed your addictions that you have in life, and an addiction's not just a drug addiction. It can be an addiction to money. It can be an addiction to lust. It can be an addiction to many things. But if you have an addiction to these things, it will show its face to you. And you're going to see that the structures that supported you was nothing but an illusion. And you're going to have to be your own structure, because you're going to want freedom from the partnerships that haven't been using their higher mind. And with Venus being involved, I do see that it has to do with love or money, because you're just not going to have it anymore. Now, the last day of the month, New Year's Eve, okay, it's the moon's in Leo